ASMR. You ask and you shall receive. That is what we're going to be doing today. For some reason, you guys love my drunk ASMR videos almost more than my high ASMRs. My drunk ASMR short to this day, I think, is my most viewed shorts on my entire channel. So I got myself half a bottle of Bacardi, a chaser, some water, and 4 popular TikTok books that I'm sure most of you have heard of, that I'm going to be giving my blunt and honest drunk reviews for. So for every book that I review, I'm going to be taking a shot of my good old friend Bacardi over here. And I think we should kick it off by taking the first one. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. At this point, I think I deserve a few new patrons. And cheers. Okay. First book that I'm going to be reviewing, probably the most popular book on BookTube, on BookTok. And honestly, I might have some unpopular opinions. It is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, otherwise known as Akatar. I honestly just don't think that this series is anywhere near as good as the Throne of Glass series, as her first series. Now, I haven't read Crescent City, so I don't know how that compares or how that fits into my rankings, but I read this series first, and I was a little bit disappointed, especially by this first book. Now, it wasn't bad, but this follows our main character, Feyre, who is a human girly. She's from a poor family. She has 2 pretty useless sisters at the beginning of the series, and a drunk dad who is unable to work. So Feyre kind of has to step up and take care of everyone. She is the provider. So one day she's out in the woods and she kills a wolf. But the wolf is not just any wolf, okay? The wolf is a magical fey wolf from the Spring Court. Now, at the time, Feyre's like, okay, whatever, I just killed this wolf. This wolf has like weird eyes, but I don't know. One thing you gotta know about Feyre, she's a little dumb. She's a little dumb. It's okay. It's okay. Just honesty. And so, a few days after she kills this is not a romance book, okay? Technically, when we're talking about the qualifications that make a romance book, this is not a romance book. But the romance in this book is one of the best romances I've ever read in fiction. I think it's one of the most realistic. It's one of the most nuanced, and it's just fucking brilliant. I love this book, okay? Does it have quotation marks? No. Sally Rooney's writing style is very, very unique, but she manages to weave these heavy topics like class and wealth and sexuality all in these two people and their relationship, and you don't even need quotation marks to understand what's going on, okay? I'm just gonna say it. I think if you are a reader, capital R reader, you read a lot and you pick up this book and you're like, there's not quotations, I have to put it down. Ew, why is there quotations? Shut up. How about shut the fuck up? Give it like 3 chapters and you'll be in it and it won't even matter anymore. It doesn't matter. Sally Rooney is so good of a writer that this bitch doesn't even need quotation marks. Okay? If you hate the miscommunication trope, you will hate this book. But another hot take of mine, I really think that people just hate the miscommunication trope because it's the most accurate and it's the most realistic, and they don't like looking in the mirror. Because I would say 9 times out of 10 in our everyday relationships, most of our problems, especially if you're young and you're in your 20s and you're dating, they stem from miscommunications. And Connell and Marianne are just, they're everything to me. I mean, even just the way this book starts. January 2011, Marianne answers the door when Connell rings the bell. That line alone is a metaphor for their entire relationship, their entire dynamic over years and years and years and years. Marianne answers the door when Connell rings the bell. Marianne answers the door. Marianne, I'm not a religious person, but sometimes I think God made you for me. And that's it, end quote. That's all I've got. If I keep talking about this book, I will cry. I will cry. If Sally Rooney has 100 fans, I am one of them. If Sally Rooney has 1 fan, it is me. If Sally Rooney has 0 fans, I am dead. Okay? Capiche? Cool. Okay, time for our 3rd shot. Ooh, I don't know what compelled me to decide to drink at 3 p.m. on a Monday, but here we are. The election's tomorrow. So, I guess that's my excuse. Cheers, everyone. The next book that I'm going to talk about, I'm even shocked that I still have a copy of this book. This has been listed on my bingo books for like a year, over a year, and no one wants to buy it, so I still have my Ugly Love copy, and that means I can review it for you today. Ugly Love by Miss Colleen Hoover. Now, has anyone checked in on Miss Colleen? Like, where is she? She has not had a book come out since 2023, 2022. Reminders of Him, I think, was her last book. Like, is she still writing books? I don't know. Or have we bullied her off the internet? Because while situationship. Yay! I love when men get into situationships instead of just going to therapy. So Miles and Tate begin hooking up, and naturally Tate falls in love with him. And thus, we're at a little bit of a contention, you know? Eventually, Tate finds out, like, what Miles has been going through and why he won't commit and open up. But it's not worth the read, okay? I'll tell you why. Do you want to know why? I will read one passage that ruined this book for me. Not only are half of the chapters written in this weird stanza poetry format for no reason, there is a part on page 268 that truly haunted me and haunts me to this day. Surprise! Miles had a kid, okay, before he ever met Tate. This is a flashback to them driving home from the hospital. Him and his previous baby mama. "Thank you for this baby," she says from the back seat. "He's beautiful." I laugh. "You're responsible for the beautiful part. The only thing he got from me was his balls." She laughs. She laughs hard. "Oh my god, I know," she says. "They're so big." We both laugh at our son's big balls. And then they get in a car accident and the baby dies. Because they are talking about their son's genitalia. They're distracted while driving, and he drives them into a fucking lake, and it's not funny, but it is kind of funny. You're trying to tell me that this is Colleen Hoover's masterpiece? Getting in a car accident because you can't stop talking about your son's genitalia? This is the book that had y'all sobbing, screaming, crying, throwing up. Not me, girl. We laugh at our son's big balls. That's it. That's a tweet. Okay, it is time for our fourth and final shot. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Don't forget to leave a like on this video. Cheers. Okay, I can admit that Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover is hot garbage, okay? But I can also, in the same vein, admit that Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas is also kind of garbage. But you can call me Oscar the Grouch, because I want to be all up in this garbage. I want to eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This book is probably my most unhinged and controversial take. This book is not objectively, like, good. I don't think I would recommend it to everyone out there. But this was the first book that I ever read with explicit, spicy scenes, okay? And I feel like this is one of the first books that I read that truly has that enemies to lovers, but it's even better because you got secret identity, you've got friends to enemies to lovers to enemies to love. Like, the dynamics between our two main characters in this book are so good. This book follows a girl named a girl named Ryan and a boy named Misha. When they're kids, they are paired up together as pen pals, and then they keep contact for years and years growing up, until one day Ryan ghosts and she never writes back. And so Misha is kind of like pissed off. He feels hurt by it. And then one thing leads to another, and he ends up transferring to Ryan's school. But he decides to go by a different name so that Ryan doesn't recognize him. And he notices that she's kind of like the opposite of what she seemed to be in her letters. She's a popular girl, she's a cheerleader, and she's a bully. She's involved in, like, bullying other students. They are in high school, they are 18, they are seniors, and so he decides to make her life a living hell. But simultaneously, they cannot deny the chemistry. Now, again, this has, like, the recipe to be a book that I hate. You've got new adult smut. You know, they're like 18, about to graduate, fully banging on page. I don't even care. Because it's that good. I typically don't like Penelope Douglas books, but this one, God, this one has a crack in this is my guilty pleasure read. This is my guilty pleasure read, and I'm not kidding you. I think about the scene in the library about